everyone. I am Evil 20 Minion Michelle, and I'm going to be looking at some songs that are about the devil today for this Music Talk Tuesday. I apologize, my video had to be uploaded late. Unfortunately, there have been some delays since we are preparing for the lovely festival of Halloween that'll be coming up this Saturday. So, we should be caught up though by the end of today. So the songs that I wanted to address for this particular Music Talk Tuesday sort of express the devil in a variety of different forms. And I think they offer some interesting commentary as far as interpretation on how we view this particular entity that we call the devil. Starting right out of the gate with particular country song, I think more so on the bluegrass side, but this song is called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" by the Charlie Daniels Band. Now, this song is rather interesting because it involves a story that is associated with the devil. So basically within the lyrics, it says how the devil sort of went down to Georgia and was looking for a soul to take. And he came across this guy and said, "I'll challenge you to a fiddle contest for your soul. If I win, so basically if I win, I get your soul, so to speak." And then the guy ultimately accepts the devil's challenge, and basically they commence their fiddling. And what's I think really interesting and enjoyable about the song is the fact that it does have the fiddle in it, not only, but it also brings out that country, deep south vibe that you would come to expect from a song like this. It is fun to listen to. It is catchy. It does have this very kind of upbeat nature to it, almost like, it's sort of treating the whole contest as kind of like a joke, or just sort of, something that's not to be taken, I guess, really too seriously. But it also points into how the devil sort of has, I guess, backup. So he gets sort of other people to help him in order to make his whole fiddle piece sound really good. And I think that also offers into or brings up the idea that the devil tries to kind of act like he's maybe all powerful, but he's maybe not. And at some point maybe even requires sort of some kind of assistance in order to, create maybe something that sounds a little bit better. So I think it's really trying to highlight that angle of the devil, of being not only a trickster, but sort of a, something that tries to over exaggerate itself for how powerful and mighty it is, even though it's not really the case. So I think that's really something that's really important to note, in particular when it comes to this song. So definitely worthy of recommendation and playing around this time of year. Second song that I wanted to mention is "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones. This song is actually rather interesting because, unlike the first song that is rather specific in what it's addressing, this one I think provides a little bit more of a broader interpretation. And I think that largely has to do with the fact that it's referencing historical points within history, including religious ones like involving Jesus Christ. And basically throughout the song, the narrator sort of asks the audience, "Can you guess my name?" And the interesting thing is it never says really in the lyrics Sympathy for the Devil, but the narrator basically asks the audience to provide him some sympathy. Um, and like the previous song, it is rather catchy. It has this upbeat nature to it. It's got various instruments going on uh, that offer a uh, interesting blend of sounds, and obviously, though, you can tell it is within the rock genre. Um, and it seems to kind of paint the it almost paints it as if the devil is the one that's speaking, or really the narrator of the song. And basically, I guess the sort of sympathy that he's asking for is based upon uh, all of the sort of, you know, bad things that have happened throughout history. Uh, it's almost like saying that, you know, I was there when these things happened. Um, Please take some, you know, sympathy for me, so to speak. Um, so I think that's also something that's rather interesting as well, because it does paint a definitely a different picture than the previous song where the devil is just kind of like um, this trickster who's a little who likes to over exaggerate, whereas here this kind of a devil is just asking for sympathy and just try to understand, just try to walk a mile in my shoes, you know. So I guess that's also something that's important to kind of understand. But yeah, very interesting and definitely worthy of recommendation, especially around this time of year. Third song that I wanted briefly to mention is Running with the Devil by Van Halen. This song is a lot of fun. It's definitely got the 80s Van Halen vibe, and what you would come to expect from that era. Uh, and it's also a little less specific than the previous song that I mentioned, because it's it addresses the devil in sort of a, I guess you could say, a lifestyle, because the narrator basically says, you know, same uh, same words that are within the title, running with the devil. So in other words, running with the devil sort of means that you're kind of living on the edge, you know, you're acting like there's no tomorrow, you know, you're sort of uh, embracing being, I guess, unsettled, or not having a clear cut direction within life. And basically, also, it's stated throughout the song that he doesn't have anybody that really cares about him or really, I guess, appreciates him. So I guess this sort of lifestyle fits with him well because, you know, he's constantly on the edge. He's out there. He's sort of free in a way, from, I guess, you know, maybe responsibility, and doesn't have to really, I guess, worry about anything. So it's almost like the devil in this case sort of represents a lifestyle of kind of not only living on the edge, but sort of, you know, living without sort of a care in the world, so to speak. You know, it doesn't really uh, matter. And at the end of the day, you know, the narrator's basically just running with the devil. You know, he's just living on that edge, and living like there's no tomorrow, so to speak. Um, so it's kind of like supposed to be you know, it's supposed to be kind of this fun and edgy song. Um, but at the same time, it also brings up sort of an interesting concept by having the devil not be sort of so much a thing as more so a way of life. Fourth song that I wanted to mention is The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. this song has a pretty cool intro because it kind of goes off into this uh, explanation of the devil and the number 666. And the interesting thing, though, too, is instead of the narrator being the devil or a story that revolves around the devil, um, this song is supposed to, I guess, reflect upon something that maybe did happen within reality or was within a dream. Because the narrator talks about experiencing basically the devil, and he doesn't know whether or not the experience is real or not. And he kind of discusses how he's really terrified and intimidated, and throughout, though, you really do get the eeriness that you would come to expect from a song that discusses the whole concept of the devil and the number 666. But the sound on the song is great. I mean, Iron Maiden at their best, just really well done material, and probably one of their best songs out there out of the many ones that they have. This one in particular does definitely stand out as being very hardcore and really into kind of the whole experience, at least from the narrator's standpoint, because you do feel the kind of horror as well as the intensity of, I guess, the experience that he had with the devil, whether it be a real experience or just a figmentation of his imagination, which I think is good because it really makes you question whether or not if the devil is supposed to be a representation of reality or if it's supposed to be just a part of the mind and through fiction. Last one that I wanted to briefly mention is Friend of the Devil by Grateful Dead. This one's also rather interesting. It's got a lot slower tempo than all of the other songs. A lot of the other songs are a lot more fast-paced and give out a lot more energy. This song is fairly mellow throughout. But it basically talks about how the narrator is basically a friend of the devil's. And the reason why he's sort of a friend of the devil's is because he's done some bad things in his life and he's sort of on the run from jail, and so it kind of gives off a similar vibe to the Van Halen song that tries to address the devil in the shape of like just a lifestyle choice, like people choosing to sort of do certain things that are not maybe necessarily as moral. And it's almost addressed within the song too, how he sort of knows that the things he's doing are bad. But again, it sort of is supposed to reflect onto the whole nature of what we come to associate with when we think of the devil, which is someone who is corrupt and someone who is, sort of on the run from the law and is unobedient and very just living on the edge in a way as well. So what I think, though, again stands out, though, is the fact that it does take this fairly like mellow, laid back approach and doesn't try to be all cool or over the top. It just tries to be a little bit more stripped down and simplistic, but at the same time it offers a interesting interpretation nonetheless of how the devil sort of represents a person, while at the same, in other words, a friend, but at the same time, a lifestyle choice sort of mixed in with that. But yeah, I think that's really ultimately all I can say for this particular video. Hopefully I can come by next year and do another video. I am technically the leader. Hopefully I will continue to be the leader of all of the minions, but we'll see what the devil has in store. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and hopefully I can come by next year. I'll be sure to put all the all the songs that you've heard me talk about within the video description. But hopefully until next time, bye bye.